I'm sorry I made you guys wait so long, but we filled up the 20-gallon. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video at JDH Aquatics, where we do anything aquariums related in my apartment while I'm in college. So I said I would do an official video once I got this aquarium filled up with water, and I figured there's going to be some new people here that haven't seen the aquarium yet or the setup, and there's actually a couple things that I have changed on the tank. So I'm going to go ahead and jump into a quick rundown on what we got set up. But if you have already seen it, I put time cards in the video so you guys can go ahead and just jump ahead. Now, to start off, for the aquarium, we've got the Innovative Marine 20-gallon Nuvo. This is a tank I've had for a couple years now, and I've set up, I think this is the second or third time I've set it up. And for this iteration, it's going to be an LPS dominated aquarium. It's sitting on an Imaginarium stand. It's built for a 40-gallon breeder, so we've got a little bit of extra space as well as some space down below where we've got our 3.7-gallon macroalgae pico tank. So it's sitting on a Petco stand and just some wood that I painted on top. For lighting up top, what we've got is the new Sight K7 Mini, and I know you guys might be a little confused, especially if you've seen the past couple videos that I've shot of this tank. I had two aquanites on top, and this is one of the changes that I did. Now, although I love the aquanites and I do plan on using them in some sort of other application, I chose the new Sight for this tank for a couple reasons. The first one being the looks and how much more space there is above the tank. I had mentioned that it's quite hard to clean the tank and get your hands inside with the aquanites because they're so low to the top. Versus this new Sight, it's one puck and there's just a ton of open space. It not only is much easier to work with, but it also just looks a lot cleaner. And the second reason why I switched from the aquanites to the new Sights is because of the color. I wanted to try and match the color as best as possible to the 38-gallon, which, as you guys might know, I've got the new Sight K7 Pros up top. And although they're not the exact color or spectrum, I wanted to try and just match it as best as possible. Now, there is a little bit less coverage, but I think that'll be okay. This is a 60-watt fixture. The aquanites were 30 watts each, so combined it was 60 watts over 6 different pucks of light, versus the new Sight, which is one puck, but it produces 60 watts. So there is obviously a lens on the light to spread out that light, but I don't think it's going to have the same coverage nearly as the aquanites. However, we're just going to play around with it and we're going to see how it goes over time. Now, in the back chamber of the aquarium, we do of course have a return pump because this is an all-in-one aquarium. We were using the old return pump that came from the Fiji Cube, which the Fiji Cube is using the return pump from this tank. But it's such a nice pump that I wanted to use it on the little bit bigger, nicer tank. So for this aquarium, we had the return pump from this old tank. Wow, that was a lot to say. Regardless, we put it in this tank and the pump was extremely loud. It was working well, but it was just too loud, and having this aquarium right next to my bed, I needed something much quieter. I bought an Aquatop. I don't even know what the name of the pump is, but the brand is Aquatop. It's 192 gallons per hour, so it's kind of a weak return pump in my opinion, but it's turning over about 10 times the volume. It's creating surface agitation, and I think it should be okay. Now, for flow inside of the tank, we have a simple power head that's pointed just directly to the right side of the aquarium. It's an Aqueon power head. I want to say it's around maybe 120 gallons per hour or something like that. It's not a very large pump, which is good because I thought it was going to be too much flow for this aquarium. For filter media, I've got these like bio sponges that I threw into the 38-gallon in hopes that they would kind of curate and get some bacteria on them, but it was only for about a week. However, those are in the back of the tank along with some filter floss just to clean out any gunk that may have came up from the sand. And I also added some Biospira to add a little bit more beneficial bacteria for the rocks and the sand in hopes that'll boost up this cycling process a little bit more. Now, in the tank, we've got roughly maybe 10 to 12 pounds of dry rock. This is just man-made rock that I got from one of my local fish stores. And I had another piece in here that would have made it maybe a little bit closer to 15 pounds, but I'm using that for the 3.7 gallon underneath. So we've got only maybe 10 or 12 pounds in here. It's got enough little nooks and crevices to put coral in. And as for sand, we've got about 15 pounds in there. We threw a 20-pound bag of sand in there. However, we took out maybe 3 pounds for the Pico tank again. So there's about 1.5 inch sand bed in there. Now that we've talked about the tank and kind of what we got going on, let's talk about the plans for it. So like I said, we've got some beneficial bacteria in here on some biomedia from the 38 gallon along with some of the biospira to add a little bit more bacteria. So we're going to keep testing, of course, our nitrates, nitrites, and ammonias. Now the plan that I have in my head right now is once that nitrogen cycle has ended or has closely come to an end, we are going to take my pair of clownfish that I have in the 38 gallon and transfer them over to the 20 gallon. I'm doing this for a couple reasons. I'm trying to basically spread out the bioload that I have in this tank. I've got one Anthias, two Chromis in my pair of clowns, and I know that's not a lot of fish. However, I don't really want to add more fish to this, and I'd rather just take the pair of clowns that I have from here and put them into the 20 gallon. The pair of clowns that I have are my oldest fish. I've had one of them for about 3 years now, and I would like to give them their own home where there's no other fish to disturb them, and they're just gonna have their own little LPS sanctuary. So after about another week, we're gonna take these clownfish and put them into here, let them sit in the tank for, again, another maybe 2 or 3 weeks, let them feed that beneficial bacteria and have that culture build up. And then after that's done, our 2 tester LPS corals that we've already got ready to go is our green bubble coral as well as our Duncan. The Duncan's got probably 12 to 15 heads on it. That's a really nice colony, so I am kind of scared to test it out. So we should have everything into this tank in about the next month. We're not going to buy too much for it besides maybe a small cleanup crew. We've already got the livestock that we want going into the tank from the start. So I'm really excited to get this thing going. I hope you guys are too. I apologize for the wait. I know it's been quite a while that this tank's been sitting on this stand, and it's been really getting to me. I know it was such a simple thing to just fill it up with water and plug in a pump and let it start cycling. However, the pump was not the right one that we needed from the start anyways. I did have to buy one, but that's okay. So we've got the tank cycling now. We'll put the clowns in here in the next week or so and just begin testing and hope that it does good. The 3.7 gallon has not had any big blooms of algae or diatoms or anything, so I'm pretty happy about that. I can say it's probably because of the beneficial bacteria that we had sitting and cultivating on the media in the 38 gallon. It was in there for probably like 2 months, maybe even longer than that, so it had some really good beneficial bacteria, and I think that's what's kept the water so clean in the tank so healthy so far. I'm hoping to do the same thing in the 20 gallon, but we can't predict anything, so we're just gonna roll along with the punches and see how it goes. There are a couple things that I'm still contemplating whether to get for this tank or not, which one of them is an SCP-70, which is the gyre pump that I have on this tank. I think it might be too much for this aquarium because it's not that long. In that case, I may add an SLW10, so that's another option. And then I'm still considering if I want to add an ATO to this tank. So I would do a smart micro ATO, which is the same one that I have on this tank. I'm considering putting it on or not because there would be a lot of cords and tubes visible that would be going to the reservoir, which is over to the left, and I don't think it would look that good. So I might just manually top this tank off over time. If it gets annoying, I'll add an ATO on, but for right now, I think I'm just not gonna go with one. Aside from the 2 clownfish that are gonna be in this tank, I don't think we're gonna be doing any other fish. We'll do a small cleanup crew, maybe a couple hermit crabs, but mostly snails. But in regards to coral, I want you guys to comment below and let me know what you guys would like to see in this tank. I already kind of have in mind that I'm going to be doing some Ghanies as well as some Euphyllias. So if you guys want to see any other corals besides that, then let me know in the comments. I hope you guys enjoyed watching today's video. If you guys are interested in any of the products that I use for the aquariums or even to make these videos, then check my Amazon storefront, link is in the bio. It also helps out the channel, so if you guys want to support us, that's one way to do it. With all of that being said, I will catch you guys on the next one. Peace out.